then you should prepare yourself. Now, there are some reasons why people fail to capitalize on opportunities, and it's very common. One is personal expectations or perceptions. So it might very well be that the opportunity, it's not being exactly what you wanted, or not being as good as you wanted it to be. So let's say, for example, you're just about to finish university, you envision that you'll become, I don't know, a top lawyer overnight, for example, or you'll become the executive in a bank, but you might have to start from the bottom. You might have to be a paralegal, for example, or you might just have to be a junior staff. And you find that you're not too keen on that role, you dislike the role. So either you don't accept the role, or you go into that role not giving your best. You're not giving 100%. So when the opportunity presents itself for you to go higher, because you haven't given 100%, you haven't given your best, it's very unlikely that you will be promoted. And that's one of the mistakes that we make. So when you find yourself in that situation, try and assess the position that you're in and think about it. You need to make a mark wherever you are, a very good impact, whatever position that you're in, because you literally don't know who's watching you and who's looking at the things that you're doing. Secondly, it might very well be that there's a lack of understanding in terms of God's will or God's plan for your life. So because you don't fully understand the will of God for your life, or how God intends to bring you into that plan, you miss the opportunity that comes your way. I remember Dr. Evans mentioned some time ago that he wanted to study a different course at university, and he ended up studying something completely different. But if he had gone down the path that he originally intended, it's very unlikely that he would be in that position now. And oftentimes it's the same when God wants to usher you into destiny. It might not look beautiful, so you might not take. So key thing here is obviously to find out the will of God for your life. The third one, which I think most people may have found themselves in at some point in time, is laziness. So obviously you're not willing to work for opportunities or to utilize them. It's somewhat like you're sitting thinking, okay, I'm going to meet this great man, I'm going to sit at home and the opportunity will come to me. When in reality, you actually need to put in the work. So looking for scholarships to go overseas, obviously you need to make sure that your grades are the best. You need to be online looking for these opportunities. You need to be making the most of your program as you are now, rather than waiting till the very last moment. One of the common mistakes, I believe, on my end, in terms of university students here, is so your first year, in some sense, doesn't count towards your final grade, and most students, they see that as, okay, because it doesn't count towards my final grade, I'm going to be lazy, I'm just going to get the bare minimum and I'm going to pass. And then they find out that actually, law firms, they want to see consistency in terms of your grades across board. So we don't want to see that you started off with 40s and 50s. We want to see those A's and those A stars or B's going across board. So if you have the mindset that, I'm going to sit and I'll just be mediocre, then obviously you will miss opportunities, because you're just not in that position to work for the opportunities when they present themselves. And fourth, you're not staying ready. You're just literally not prepared, or you're constantly procrastinating. So the Bible tells us that we need to be ready in season and out of season. Now, sometimes, I'm not going to say procrastination everyone can procrastinate. Just find yourself in a position where either you literally can't write, or you might get your computer for hours, but you may end up on various platforms in terms of actually doing the task that you're supposed to do. Now, if you're constantly procrastinating, like, I need to apply for a scholarship, I need to apply for a job, I need to go to this business event, I need to network, I need to go out of my room, I need to go out of my comfort zone, but you're constantly procrastinating, those opportunities will miss you. And the fifth one, I think, is a very, very big one, is fear. So you're just fearful of the fact that you're going to fail, or you're fearful of other people's perception. So you're fearful that if you apply for that job, you won't get it. If you apply for that business loan, you won't get that loan. If you speak to people, they might reject you. People might look down on me. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not intelligent enough. Maybe, I'm not articulate enough. Maybe I just don't have the right words. Maybe I'm not ministry material, for example. Maybe I'm not good enough for that person. Maybe I'm not good enough to be in that relationship. Whatever it may be, fear can completely grip a person to the extent that even sometimes when the opportunities present itself, you might reject that opportunity because you think that you're not good enough. So that's obviously something that everyone needs to overcome. And one thing I'd say, if you're constantly thinking that you're a failure, you will start to fail, because you're enabling those imaginations to manifest itself. And we do know about the power of thought. So 6, what I would say, there's a lack of hunger. So you're not ambitious enough. One thing I'd say is never limit yourself. Constantly think about how you can advance. So maybe your first year you got a 2-1, for example. The next semester you should be looking for a first, or maybe in ministry at the moment you're just leading prayer, you should be looking towards becoming a minister. Maybe you're making 500 pounds in the business, you should be looking to double. Every single thing that you're doing now, you need to be looking at how best you can double, how best you can improve, how best you can advance. Even as a person, in terms of your knowledge, you should be thinking, okay, what book can I buy to know more about this era? What book can I buy to know more about business, to know more about excellence? Those little things in terms of knowledge, at the moment you might be thinking, well, I know enough. Actually, no, you don't know enough. We have people that have studied various topics for years upon years upon years, pouring it into books, and that's where we need to get to. And quickly, before I summarize, how can you take opportunities? The most obvious one, as I've mentioned, is to prepare yourself. So when opportunity meets preparation, there's always a good outcome.